Hey everybody, Aaron here on another video regarding safety. In today's video, what I want to do is talk about doing a lot less in safety than what you're currently doing. What I mean by that is something I've observed over the last 20 years doing this. It's common at a lot of companies, big ones and maybe not so much small ones, but medium to large size companies. I tend to see this happening in, and that is they're trying to do everything or trying to do way too much than what a person or a team is capable of doing and doing well. Everybody knows that, if you're a safety professional and you have 50 safety programs that you have to maintain, it's too much. You're going to suck at just about everything. You can not be great at all of those programs. It just can't happen. Now, there's record keeping requirements and some compliance things that you need to check the box on. But it's my personal opinion that if you really want to impact the incident count and you really want to keep people safe, and if you really want to build that safety culture where everybody is capable of identifying and reporting hazards before they get someone, you need to focus more time and attention on the things that matter and the things that impact the culture. The safety training that I see today that's done online, I mean, you have to do what you have to do. I get it. But some of it is so bad, I wonder if it helps at all. Um, Sometimes when I see safety meetings that are conducted, let's say you have a company that is a remote workforce and you have people all over the country and they have to join in, remotely from Teams or something like that. What I see is, 30% of the workforce showing up, probably 5% of those people are even paying attention. And are you really even having a safety meeting at that point? I see safety training online that you can game, you know, and here you are, a safety professional, administering all this stuff for what? It's a huge waste. And I know that if you're in safety, trying to convince people above you that that's the case is almost impossible. But if by chance you ever can, my communication on this is as follows. Let's focus on the three top main things that make the biggest impact on safety culture. There's a book out there called Turn the Ship Around. You should check it out. Some of these ideas come from that book. Um, the hard part about doing this is sometimes it can get a little bit worse before it gets better. But at some point you have to build the culture. And I know that that phrase is tossed around a lot out there. There's actually a company called Safety Culture. Everybody has their own definition, but you're really never going to get to where you need to be without doing that. Now, if you have a 10-man company, you can probably squeak by because you can kind of be where they are at all times, maybe. But once you get to 50 employees and up, there's just no way. So, so if you're trying to build that culture, you need to do that. It's my opinion that you need to focus on the activities that build that culture. What I'm used to doing is I'm used to having, required safety observations have to be made by every employee at least once a week or once a month. That gets employee engagement. It kind of trains them to see while they're on the job. That's one of the things, and I do that very well. I focus a lot of time and attention on that, and you'd be surprised what they report and find that you would have never seen. So that one thing there alone has a huge impact on the safety culture. The other thing is like safety meeting attendance. I like weekly safety meetings, even for general industry, and look and see who shows up to those. Look and see who shows up and see who doesn't show up. And then when you go to talk to those people, see who has an attitude, and make a list. And that will tell your operations team who you want to keep and who you don't want to keep when layoffs come, because this impacts safety. So there's a lot of this stuff bleeds over into operations, but safety meetings is another thing that I think is very important there. Um, Safety training, and I'm not talking about the online training that is done today. I'm talking about in-person, on-site training. Here is how you do this with a demonstration of the safety professional on site showing how that gets done. There's no replacement for that. You know, I know we all have to do online safety training to cover some of this because we can't just do it all. But, you know, the critical areas that are most risky to the people and to the business, that is where you do the on-hands training in person, right there in front of everybody. If you could do those three things very, very well, it might take 6 months, it might take a year, but you have a real safety culture now. And if you ever have to scale that business, it's going to hold up under pressure. Whereas, you know, doing the basic stuff is not enough. So, anyway, hope that helps. I think it's about doing a lot less, being better at fewer things instead of trying to do everything. You have to just admit it and take a step back and say, look, we don't have the staff for that. We need to be better at fewer things. So if you agree with that or disagree, comment, let me know your thoughts, and I will see you in another video.